Hey everyone. In the previous video, we spoke about 4 essential skills that's important for any product manager to have. In this video, I'm going to talk about a skill which goes unnoticed in the initial years of product management, but as in when you progress in this career, you realize the importance of this. So, we're going to talk about earning respect of your team members. Imagine you're working as a developer in the team and you have a new product manager coming up, right? Once the product manager joins, he's trying to tell you to do things A, B, C without really understanding how the product works. Why would you do it, right? You don't report to that person. Your promotion doesn't depend on your relationship with that person. So, what is an incentive as a developer for you to listen to the product manager who doesn't really know anything about the product? You see how difficult it is for the team to progress if there is no mutual respect within the team? In this video, we're going to go over a few tips that a product manager can use to incorporate or basically develop that respect within the team and make progress as a whole. So let's break it down. PM's job is quite interesting because no one really reports to you, but you still have to work with different set of people. You have to work with developers, you have to work with business, and you also have to work with users. But no one reports to you, so no one is obligated to do stuff that you say, right? So the only way to get things done is by influence. And the influence only works when you have people's respect that you're working with. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 quick tips that any product manager can deploy in their team to earn the respect and make progress as a whole. Number 1, make your vision equal to the product's vision, also aligned with the team's vision. People do wonders when they're motivated enough to do something, right? And as a product manager, it's your role to make sure that the people in your team eat, breathe the same product vision that you have for the product. This can be done in many different ways, like emphasizing the impact your product has on the end user, involving your team in product feedback sessions, tell them how the user feels when the product is being used, involve them in product strategy discussions. They say PMs are the CEO of the product. I disagree. I say make your team the CEO of the product. As a product manager, your job is to empower the team so that they can take decisions without being dependent on you and for the benefit of the product. So this is how I did it in my previous roles. I used to run sprints in few of my roles, right? And sprint is basically where you have probably 2 weeks of sprint where you plan a few items to be done. And at the end of the sprint, you have like sprint retro where you try to understand what mistakes you made, what challenges you face so that you don't face those challenges or mistakes in the future sprints. So every day when we used to have a stand up, I used to mention all the goals we have for the sprint. In this way, every day the people were reminded of what goals we have to finish for the sprint, and if something strikes up, they would escalate that to me, right? So in this way, I made sure that everyone in the team knows what we are aiming towards at the end of the 2 weeks, and they eat and breathe the same goals that I am breathing for the next 2 weeks. Number 2, have frequent one-on-ones. I cannot emphasize the importance of having one-on-ones with your team. Talk to them and learn about them. Understand where they want to grow, where are they facing difficulties, what challenges are they facing, where can you help them grow. Follow up on your one-on-one, because one-on-ones itself are not that useful if you don't follow up on the action items that's being discussed in the previous one-on-ones. So as a tip, what I used to do in my previous roles is basically keep a separate notebook for each and every person in your team. And whenever you used to have one-on-ones, just note everything down. And in the next one-on-one, you can actually see what was discussed and you can take actions on it. The intention of the one-on-one is to create a very healthy and friendly relation with your team. Let me give you an example. In my previous role, I was working with a developer who was only working on backend, but also wanted to do something on front end. But we actually had someone doing just core front end. So this conversation came up in our one-on-ones where I asked him exactly what he wants to do, where he wants to grow, is he bored of what he's doing right now? And that's when he said that I'm not bored, but I want to do something which is not in my comfort zone. Maybe I want to try backend. So what I did in the next sprint is I made sure that I tried to reduce the workload from on the backend perspective, but try to include him in on the front end discussions, right? And maybe give him a shared project where he can work with the person doing the front end and maybe do a pair programming sort of a thing, right? In this way, he gets a taste of what the front end programming looks like in this product. And if he's interested, I can start giving him more items in the upcoming sprints. You also have to make sure the front end person doesn't feel that someone is stepping on his or her shoes. In this way, you actually make your team know that you are hearing all their suggestions and challenges and you're working towards them. And this is very important. Number 3, express gratitude and thank them. I have covered this in the previous video extensively, but it's proven that people work harder when they're appreciated. One example is Jensen Huang. In many of the interviews that you might have seen of Jensen Huang, you might see that Jensen is always appreciating his team. In one of the videos, he goes out and says that I have 53 reports and I trust all of them and they are amazing. NVIDIA, he also says that NVIDIA is what it is because of the team that we have and not because of one person, right?
Smart people do a lot of things. I'm surrounded by 60 people. They're doing smart things all the time. And they probably don't realize it, but I'm learning constantly from every single one of them.
So imagine you are someone who's reporting to Jensen and you hear this in one of the interviews. You will be more motivated to do some more additional good work, right? For the not for him, but for the team itself. Again, I don't mean appreciate them falsely, but do it when it's due. Be proud of them. Keep in mind one thing, it's not about your progress, it's about the team's progress. So as a product manager, a KPI for you is not about how you are performing, it's about how your team is performing, right? So if your team progresses, if your product is shipping out good features, it's a good reflection on you. Be proud of the team, make sure they're feeling heard, and then think of yourself as a part of the team and not someone who is the CEO of the product itself. Number 5, which is very important, is be humble and be curious. Because as a PM, you need to talk 3 languages. You need to talk to business stakeholders to try to understand the product strategy, make them understand the resource constraints, how you're working on your strategy, what are some KPIs, how are you doing on your OKRs, all those kind of stuff. You need to talk to technology in terms of technology specifications, user requests, prioritization backlogs, timelines, etc. You need to also talk to users to understand their pain points, challenges faced, feedback, right? So here you see all 3 languages are quite different, but the goal is same, to enhance the product. So if you feel you lack knowledge in any of these 3 languages, it is okay. Accept and learn. I've seen this before where people think they know a lot of stuff right after they join the team and they try to talk to business as if they know it, and business can easily point out if you know your items or not. So I would say at that point, you start losing the respect, because as a business person, I feel that this product manager is not true to himself and he's just trying to be a know-it-all. So let me just not trust him with whatever he says in the future, right? So this is very important where and in the initial phases of product management, I think that's quite an advantage you have, because you can just say that I don't know anything and start learning everything from scratch, right? So I would say accept, acknowledge, and then start learning. Then you would say, how would I learn, right? So there are multiple things. Keep sessions, ask questions, study on your own time, but make sure after a few months you are capable of at least knowing 50% of all 3 languages. Let's take for example, right? For example, you are a product manager who has a technical background, but now you're working on a finance product. In this case, you might know how to talk to developers, but you might not know how to talk to users because you don't know the product, and you might not know how to talk to business because you don't know the financial business. And there are a few things you can do. Try to identify the key stakeholders who are your users and who are your business people. Talk to them, try to understand what challenges they're facing right now and what is their vision for the product. Whatever new terms you come up with in their meetings, try to keep a note and use LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, or Llama, whichever one is your favorite, right? And try to Google and ask questions there, so that at least you're fluent with the jargons that business uses or users uses, right? So I think these are a few ways in which as a PM you will progress. In the upcoming videos, I will cover more on your first 30 days as a product manager and what you can do. But as a product manager, we are in a seat where we are in the middle of users, business, and technology. So it really gives us the power to delve deep into whichever item we are interested in, right? Many of you folks listening to this series might be people who are wanting to go into product management but are not yet into product management, right? And the reason might be because, let's say, you don't have enough experience, and a lot of roles currently require product manager experience even for a starter role, right? So in the upcoming videos, in the next video actually, I will cover a few tips that people can use to get into product management without actually having experience in product management. So subscribe and stay tuned. Thank you for watching.